I haven't got time to mark this motherfucker. Here we go again. We can't hear anybody. Nobody can talk to anybody.
You guessed it, Pressure Points. Your two favorite hosts. I'm Drunk D, and this is Non-Hungover AJ. We're coming at you with Season 5, Episode 10, NASA's Dolphin-Wax Problem. We're going to get into some good information today, so find us on Instagram and Twitter at PointsOPressure. Strap in, baby. It's going to be a good one.
Well, turn the fucking thing off, you dumbass.
I like that you sped up and then had time left over.
Oh, I know. I panicked because I really didn't want to laugh after I said the title.
Oh, that's... Yeah, NASA plays a pretty big role in this one.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know. I'm just making small talk.
They fund it. You're good.
Yeah.
So, we're back.
How's your weekend? Or week, I guess?
Week was good, yeah. I worked, but I did my best to not fucking work hard. So it's been great, honestly.
Nice. I did another clinical just a couple days ago. It was pretty good. I didn't cut up any shit.
Boo.
But I got called a bitch by a very confused guy. So that was good.
That's promising.
I got to help clean up bleeding fistula after dialysis. It didn't clot for some reason.
Welcome to your new life.
Yeah, it's great.
Good.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm not burnt out yet. That takes like 5 years.
Yeah, that'll take like 5 months and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good, dude. Yeah.
Hey, there's a link in the thing below here or like on our social medias. Go sign up for our giveaway.
Yeah.
I need more people.
Yeah, sign up for the giveaway. I haven't looked at it, but sign up for it.
Sign up for it. You get some stickers and pins and stuff. Even if you're just going to get it and throw it in the trash, just sign up.
Yeah.
And, like, it requires your email so that you can't enter, like, 5 different times unless you have 5 different emails.
I mean, you can.
But,
I don't care if you do.
But, yeah, I'm not going to spam you. I'm not going to use that email for anything.
We're not going to spam you unless we really need to.
Yeah.
I mean, no, we won't spam you.
And the only way we'd need to is if you don't sign up.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, Nordic Thunder, Lindo, let's see, who else? A chairperson of the PP. I don't see your name on the little sign-up.
It goes through March, right? We're doing it all the way until the end of March? I don't know when the fuck it ends.
April Fool's Day is when it ends.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's promising. Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, just go sign up because I want to give some of this cool shit away.
Yeah. It's true.
That's pretty much it.
I worked hard designing these fucking stickers. Yeah, I made them. I drew them.
I printed them.
So go sign up to fucking get them.
They're custom.
Don't let my work be for nothing. Like this podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, unsuccessful week. Last night, AJ and I hung out with my girlfriend and his wife. And I got
Your girlfriend has a wife?
I said, and his wife. Your wife.
Hey, however they identify, it's fine. Okay. I support them.
But yeah, we played this game, and I ended up yelling at AJ's wife more than I've yelled at anyone in the past like 4 years.
Oh, it's
and
such a frustrating
And she is the nicest fucking person. And we left, and I turned to my girlfriend, and I go, I feel so fucking bad for how stoned I got and for how angry I got.
No.
Game.
You were good. You were totally good. She's having the same problem where it was just kind of too far away to see super well.
Oh, dude, really though. I think
we got to scooch those chairs up.
Yeah, it wasn't like the worst thing. It was just.
I had a blast. Yeah. She had a blast.
I had a great time. She goes, yeah. I thought you were in a bad mood, and I go, no, I just haven't gotten stoned in like almost a month now, and like it just made me really fucking sleepy while we were playing. So yeah,
it doesn't help that the game was so frustrating.
Created
overcooked
to cause dissent among the party. So
no, it was great.
All right, well, this week we are going to be talking about one of the more interesting
Nazis.
experiments that's been done with animals that wasn't during the 1940s.
Damn it.
AJ.
The Mengele animal trials.
No, yeah.
Fuck.
The Mengele dolphin trials. No, so, I mean, as most of you know, humans have been doing weird shit with animals pretty much since the beginning of time, right? I mean, back in like the late 1800s, in 1880, there was a guy who would hold horse diving shows.
Oh, I love that shit.
Where he would, like, he discovered it because the bridge that he was riding his horse across started to collapse, and he and his horse gracefully dove into the water, and he went, maybe people would love to pay to see this happen more often. And so they created these fucking
and then he went around town collapsing bridges.
No, they would go to like lakes and build these fixtures where horses would walk up them and then they would just fucking dive off. And this went on until the 1970s. Like this was
I didn't think
this
it was
was
that
a regular
recent.
fucking thing for a while. Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest reasons why it stopped is because this lady fell off of her horse and both of her eyeballs got knocked out.
That's fine.
And she was blind for the rest of her life. So it only stopped because
one person ruined it for the rest
a
of us.
human got hurt, not because the horses are fucking diving from like 20 feet up into water. Although there are some pretty epic pictures of horses like mid-jump.
Oh, that's great.
In 1963, 111 people signed up for the World Octopus Wrestling Championships. And during this event, they captured 25 giant Pacific octopuses. And in one tournament a couple years before, they caught and wrestled an 80-pound octopus at one point. Like, it's just weird.
What the fuck?
Humans do some weird fucking shit with animals, and for some reason, it also involves water. Thank you. So today, like I said, is about one of the more interesting and just odd experiments that's out there.
I think
And I think it's huge. I think it's important.
It is a very important to talk about this story. But I think we very briefly mentioned this, like in season 1.
Nah, I think I mentioned it
Unethical experiments.
at like the start of this season because I was going to do it.
We've definitely talked about this. I think it was in IRBs, but we didn't go into it at all.
I know that I've mentioned it to you, and you said you knew what it was, and this was when I found out about it last November, like literally just 5 months ago.
I swear.
And I was like, hey, I want to do an episode on this, and I want to surprise you with it, but you already knew it.
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah, it's all good. It's a weird one.
But I'm basically what I was trying to say is I'm glad we're finally doing it.
Yeah. And I am too.
Non-Nazi content.
What? It must be an off week.
Yeah, your week.
Yeah, my week. It must be the every other week. The every other non-Nazi week. So, in 1949 in Massachusetts, a pilot whale was beached on the coastline. If you don't know what a pilot whale looks like, it's okay because neither do I. Don't look it up. I'm going to describe it to you. A pilot whale is a dolphin that has a face tumor. Now look up.
Okay, now I'm going to look it up.
Because it's exactly what it looks like.
A dolphin with a face tumor?
Yeah, a dolphin with a fucking face tumor.
Yeah.
Shit you not.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's like what's that animal? They're like a beluga whale.
Yeah, like a
head
like a
on
beluga
a dolphin's
whale
body.
on a dolphin body. So John Lilly was younger at the time, and he found it and was, this dude is a trip. I'm just gonna start this off. Most of the things that John Lilly gets into in this episode, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? But just know the guy's a fucking weirdo. So instead of seeing it and being like, holy shit, I haven't seen an animal this big, John Lilly sees it and he goes, wow, the brain on that thing must be huge. I'm surprised. And that's what he focused on.
Okay, so he's autistic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, the dude's fucking crazy. So, mind you, at the time, like, this is in, like, late 40s, 1950s, where they weren't focusing. No, not what you're thinking.
That's a great time period.
No, I mean like late 40s, like 1949. Not your happy.
Still a good
late
time
40s.
period.
So
Also, I wouldn't call it a happy time period.
it's a happy time for AJ. So at the time, a lot of people were fascinated with the size of like brains. That it was like the bigger the brain, the more the processing power. And like humans have normal sized brains and frogs have tiny brains. So frogs are dumb. Humans are smarter than frogs. But pilot whales,
They got big brain. They're smarter than a human.
yeah, they got smart brain. So through the 50s, John and his wife ended up traveling a lot of the Caribbean. Caribbean?
You can say either.
Caribbean.
Caribbean.
Yeah, Caribbean. It
Caribbean.
sounds wrong. Yeah.
I like to say Caribbean.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm from Mississippi and I don't know how to read if I say Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean. Caribbean.
It's either. You can say either.
Okay. So he and his wife would go out and they would look for big-brained sea creatures, more or less.
I was gonna say, so they're cruising the Caribbean, seeking out big brains. But it
not.
was right. Damn.
Dr. John Lilly and his wife went out looking for fucking big-brained sea
What a
creatures.
great excuse to expense out a trip to the Caribbean.
Really, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a private yacht.
What are you going to be doing
Fuel,
out there?
food.
Looking for big brain
I'm looking for big brains.
Look for big brains in the water. Okay.
I need some scuba suits, some
Try.
oxygen devices, everything you need for 16 daiquiris and 14 Mai Tais. I need a case of...
Every day.
Yeah, every day. I'm going to need a
God.
case of beer every day.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, they're out there for a while and they were working with I think it was like the Miami Research Center or something. They were working with like a Miami
Based.
aquarium, more or
Oh,
less.
cool.
And this is actually the first place that a bottlenose dolphin was brought into captivity, which is fucking terrible.
Yeah, you...
Not
Shouldn't
okay with it
be.
at all. And now at the time, in these like on the eastern coast, people fucking hated dolphins in the 50s, right?
They did?
Yeah.
Were dolphins the scourge of the 50s?
They were with fishermen. Fishermen fucking hated dolphins. They would call them, herring hogs. Because while they were fishing, they would throw out their nets and they would like be bringing shit in, and dolphins would like tear up their nets and just eat all of the fucking
fish.
herring, or they would like just grab fucking mouthfuls. And I mean, dolphins aren't small. Like they grab a mouthful of herring. That's a ton of fucking
Yeah,
fish.
that's a ton of fish.
And I mean, they travel in packs. So a lot of people saw them as vermin in the waters. So when people are obsessed with dolphins, these fishermen are like, yo, fuck those stupid things. You better test on these like rats. Which put an idea in John Lilly's mind. And he decided, it was the Marine Studios in Miami. I just found it in my notes. So John found a way to map the cerebral cortex of a dolphin, right?
In the 50s?
Yeah,
That's
in the
pretty
50s.
good.
It's impressive.
That's pretty impressive tech.
The biggest issue with it, however, is that they had to do it with little probes because you can't put a dolphin under sedatives, right?
You can't?
No, because they'll stop breathing.
Oh, like humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a way to keep them
Yeah.
fucking breathing at the time because they would think
It's not like you're going to intubate a dolphin.
yeah,
You know?
like you'd think, we'll keep him underwater because he's a water animal, but he doesn't have a fucking way to breathe because they have a blowhole, John. And so they would perform live experiments on live dolphins.
Ooh.
Yeah. Not so good.
Yeah.
And they went through an undisclosed amount of dolphins trying to map out the cerebral cortex. So as big as it was for the 1950s that he mapped it out, not so big with the amount of dolphins that were fucking murdered during this process.
It's documented like if someone asked how many paper clips they used to hold their files together. An undisclosed amount.
yeah, an
I mean,
undisclosed.
we use so many, we can't even remember.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking awful.
Jesus.
So, while doing these operations, John's wife was observing from what they called the Operation Theater, which is just the worst fucking title for an area, but also the coolest title for an area. Because I, like, imagine saying, oh, honey and I are going to the Operation Theater later this weekend. Like, you're a fucking psycho, but that's cool as hell. Yeah,
that's hella cool.
So, John's wife was up in the Operation Theater, and she was observing and noticed that while John would speak during these operations to his female assistant, after he would talk, the dolphin would do like a low woo 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 sound, right? Like
it was exactly like that. That was a recording.
In the same in the same tones and like frequent like
the cadence,
the syllables. Yeah, the cadence.
Okay.
Thank you. The cadence with the way that John spoke, and then John's assistant Alice would respond, and the dolphin would do it at a higher pitched tone with her cadence.
Okay, so showing some
communication,
some at least understanding of
communication
some mimicry,
among humans,
which is pretty big. Crows do weird mimicry shit.
Oh yeah, crows are fucking crazy. Don't watch DC's Birds of Prey. Go listen to Pressure Point's Birds of Prey in season 4.
Yes.
That one will get removed eventually.
One day.
Yeah.
One day. Once we start making money, we'll be sued.
Yeah, once DC can make a movie that's better than our episodes,
we'll be good. Removed. We'll be good for a couple years. We're fine.
So it's picking up on this cadence and the communication style that humans have, which, just so you know, it's not the size of the brain of a dolphin that does this well. Dolphins are just a very intelligent species, not because of the size of their brain.
Well, yeah, we disproved plenty of times that it's not the size of the brain that matters, but it's the connections within the brain. Like, I mean, I don't have the source for this because I'm just remembering it.
What the fuck?
Heard about it on a different podcast a long time ago. But there was this dude who, I mean, not a genius, but a normal functioning human being above the level of any kind of mental disability, IQ-wise. So, you know, like a pretty average dude. And he started getting these weird headaches. They eventually MRI'd him, and he had what's it called? Hydrocephaly for most of his life, as far as they could tell.
What's that?
It's too much fluid building up in the skull, so it compresses the brain. His brain had the surface area roughly 25% of a normal brain. That's like the size of a lamb brain.
Yeah.
And he was normal.
Yeah.
Like he completely normal.
The connections that are being made in his brain.
Yeah, it must have been like, I mean, who knows? Because it's an anomaly, but like maybe it was just slow enough that he was able to maintain the connections as it got smaller and smaller, so it's just very dense with material.
That's crazy.
And, you know, shit like that happens. It's not about the size of the brain.
Yeah, okay.
It's about how you use it.
Size doesn't matter in any case.
I mean, yeah. As we have proven now, Pressure Points has proven, you heard it here first, size doesn't matter.
It's the motion of the ocean.
You can, if anybody tells you size does matter, refer them back to us.
Yeah, send them to us, and we'll talk about the penis pandemic and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so John's wife sees this happening, hears this happening, and tells John about it. And John, in 1961, ends up doing what anybody does in the 1960s when they make a huge discovery, and they write a best-selling book about it, right?
Oh, I was going to say, get a lot of government funding.
Well,
and a linear particle accelerator, because during that time period,
part of it,
they were giving out, like, you could just go to the government and say, hey, I'm a scientist. No, I don't really have to prove it. And you're going to mail me a linear particle accelerator. That's how they invented, like, the wood boards in a bowling alley. You know, like the shiny gloss.
I remember hearing
shit.
about it.
I mean, nowadays it's just lacquer because it's easier.
Yeah, I read a little bit about that.
But yeah,
particle accelerators are what
it was
made...
such a weird,
it's so crazy
time period where you could just send me one of these, and they'll just send you one, and you could just do whatever. Like, there's tons of stories of scientists where or like janitors and people. I'd say tons. I've heard like 2. But like somebody gets in front of the particle accelerator and then it gets turned on.
Fucking
And it just
vaporizes.
completely vaporizes half their body.
It's fantastic.
Super cool.
It's everything that
Somebody,
I love in a story.
One of the original polio vaccines, they tried to inactivate the virus by shooting it with a particle accelerator. Oh, it's so over the top.
It's
I love it.
It's
like,
amazing.
we have it. May as well use it.
Oh, fuck it. So really, realistically speaking, it would not surprise me if John got his hands on one.
Oh, for sure.
He writes a best-selling book, and it's basically just called, like, Humans and Dolphins, more or less, and everybody eats this shit up. But it got into the hands of one of the extraterrestrial researchers in the U.S. who had the same ideas as John, which the concept that both of them shared was that other creatures can be as intelligent as humans, and though creating lines of communication with another species can be challenging, it could be extremely beneficial. Though this guy was more like, hey, we're going to be speaking with like aliens and other extraterrestrial creatures. John's like, yo, I just want to fucking talk to a dolphin. So
yeah.
These guys they get in touch with one another, and this guy, working with this guy, John's actually able to get NASA involved in his experiments, and NASA helps create a building called the Dolphin House, right?
Oh, I love the Dolphin
Which sounds
House.
like the worst 1980s frat boy
I was just gonna say
Miami
that.
movie.
The fucking episode of Futurama where Bender's in his frat house.
It's Dolphin House, H-A-U-S.
Dolphin House.
Whatever the fuck a dolphin does. So they build this dolphin house down in one of the Virgin Islands, and it is
He's a virgin.
It's kind of kept under the table. Like they don't want a lot of hype around it so that they can focus on.
Well, they've got
their
a
work.
lot. Like they could make a lot of money from this if they
Yeah.
could figure out a way to communicate
They
with a
need-
dolphin. Then they can expand to
need
other
the
animals. Like that's
focus.
huge.
Yeah. They need these researchers to focus on teaching dolphins English, right? Think of the trade routes and how things would change if dolphins can now speak English. So they build this center just in secret in the Virgin Islands at the bottom of a fucking cliff. And a woman by the name of Mary Lovett, one afternoon around Christmas, her brother-in-law tells her about this secret lab. And he's just like, oh yeah, well, apparently there's a secret lab. And Mary Lovett had kind of always had this weird dream to like talk to animals because of a book she read when she was a kid. So she hears about this and she's like, I want to check this shit out. So a couple weeks go by and she gets a wild hair up her ass. She goes, whatever, we're going. So she drives up this cliff face, hikes down the cliff, and she sees this huge, huge white building at the bottom of the cliff. She's like, well, I think I fucking found it.
Yeah, I wonder.
As she's walking
It's got
up,
a huge dolphin painted on the side like a van.
God. It's got a fucking V behind it. That's the Roman numeral. It's just like Dolphin House.
Yeah.
God. So she hikes down to this place, and before she even gets like close, this scientist walks up to her, one of the other researchers, and he's like, hey, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, this isn't an open to the public aquarium. Go away. And she says, I'm here because you guys have dolphins and I am fascinated with them and I want to do anything I can to help you guys out. And so he takes her to John, and John says, you know what?
Fuck you.
I like this girl's tenacity. Let's hire her on. Which is how everyone got a job back in the 1960s. So at the Dolphin House. I fucking hate saying
I
it.
love how much you're gonna have to say this.
So at the Dolphin House, they have 3 dolphins. They have Peter, Pam, and Sissy. Now, Pam is she's kind of a tough biddy. Like, she'll kind of push her way through things. She's hard to really like train and like tame. Sissy is just kind of like out there doing her own thing. And Peter they haven't really done anything experimentation wise, because Peter still, he's kind of like a teenager of sorts.
He's a rogue.
Yeah, well, no. He's like a teenager in dolphin years, which don't ask me what the fucking conversion is. I have no idea.
Hey, what's the conversion?
I have no idea.
Fuck.
But he's younger, so they've kind of held off a little bit because they just don't know how fucking crazy he might be, right? Mm-hmm. And the idea of the Dolphin House was more or less to create like a living space that welcomed interaction between dolphins and humans. So much so that like the water that they were in, it would clean out the area, like the pool, with the tide. I have no idea how this shit worked, but when the tide would come in, it would kind of clean and replace the water. So they weren't in like fucking piped in.
Yeah, they were in the ocean water.
Yeah, they were in the ocean water that's being constantly fed through.
Yeah, it's like if your house was flooded to just below like counter height all the time. They just built it in the ocean. Yeah,
they built it into the cliff
So cool.
face. And they just had done some like really weird shit.
It looks like a Bond villain
Yeah.
hideout.
Oh, dude, it's so fucking...
I am the merman.
Yeah, and you walk in, and instead of sharks being in the front room, it's fucking dolphins, and people are just in there talking.
It's
to them.
dolphins in flannel shirts and like
And people are
hats.
going A, B, C. It's just like, what the fuck did you walk into? It was supposed to be way crazier. So Mary hops on board, but she isn't a huge fan of like what happens there, right? So she...
Well, yeah, because she has this romanticized, non-scientific, really, idea of it, doesn't she?
Yeah, more or less. Like, really, her approach to it is she's looking at, I want to be able to talk to a dolphin. Because she has this, like, because it's from a children's novel she read when she was a kid. And so she just has this very odd outlook on all of
Yeah,
it.
fuck the science. I just want to talk to a dolphin. Let's do this.
Yeah, and she's like, I really want to connect with these dolphins so that I can teach them, because that's how I learned how to speak, right?
Yeah.
So she at the end of her shift, she and everyone else, like, it hits 6 p.m., everybody goes out to their cars, they turn off the lights, close up shop, go home, sleep, hang out with their families, and do shit because they have lives outside of dolphins, right? Mm-hmm. But Mary says, what if I kind of become like a mother figure to these dolphins? Almost like I mother Peter through these adolescent years and help him develop that like speech therapy by living with these dolphins. So she talks to John directly and says, look, I think that if I'm here 6 days a week, 24 hours a day, and then on the 7th day, I go home and do my thing, like...
She's going to be wrinkly.
Oh, I know, dude. That's still what I'm trying to process, is how this woman is
salty.
how she is not a fucking prune. Like,
He's so dehydrated with the
no
salt water.
idea.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
She has like a 40-pound Camelback on that she's always fucking sipping
Just
on.
an IV bag hanging from the ceiling.
Not really, though.
Hey, but you know what? They didn't have to put a bathroom in that house.
Yeah, right?
You just shit right into the ocean.
It's going to pull it out anyway. Until the tide comes back in, it hasn't pulled it out entirely. So, John, being a fucking nutcase and very likely like an autistic doctor, he goes, Mary, I think this is a phenomenal idea, and I think we're going to do it. So, over the course of the next 2 years, they, like, plaster everything up. They, like, get everything as watertight as possible. They even pipe water up into the second story in some places. Yeah, so that she can be around this dolphin all hours of the day, right? It is fucking crazy.
Damn.
So much so that they even build a platform almost in like the middle of one of the pools where it's raised just a little bit. And that's where she sleeps. She sleeps basically in the pool with the dolphins, I should say.
Yeah.
But her main focus is with Peter. So that's why they
the
filled
development stuff, right?
Yeah, that's why they filled up the area upstairs, because it's weird. They have like the lower level, which is where Pam and Sissy are. They have like the regular fucking like first floor main level, which is where most of the training with Peter goes on. And then they have their upper level, where they have like mainly documentation shit, whatever. And they even like make it so that her office is a table being fucking hung from the ceiling. It's a tabletop with ropes that go up to the ceiling, and that's where she like writes her notes and everything. In a lot of the pictures, she's sitting on a fucking stool in like a skirt, and she's just like working at the desk while there's this fucking dolphin just in the water next to her. And I'm like, this is the one that I was like, yo, she's got to be wearing like rubber boots or something. And she's just chilling with her feet in the water. I'm like, she's got to have like the pruniest body on the planet. So, like I said, on her day off, Peter would go hang out with Pam and Sissy and kind of just take it easy with regular dolphins and not humans anymore. And with all of this time together, Peter kind of becomes a little bit curious about like what the fuck a human is, right?
Yeah. It's past the fear of this thing is gonna hurt me or I don't know what's going on, to the comfort of, okay, I know they're not gonna beat my ass, so now I can kind of be more curious and poke around and figure out what's going on.
So through this time, because Mary is so incredibly hands-on with Peter, like he'll like just while she's writing and kind of documenting or trying to teach him stuff, he'll just like look at her knee, for example, was one that she pointed out, is that she would be sitting there and he would just go over and he would poke like the back of her knee with his nose. And then he would kind of like move her leg a little bit back and forth and see how it bends, and then look at like her knee and look at like her calf and try to figure out like how this fucking animal in front of him works. Because it's like I said, he's just a young dolphin. He's like, yo, why the fuck don't I have these two legs? Like, the fuck is this? So he's more or less, like, as odd as it sounds, like, I don't want to say experimenting, but like he's investigating and trying to figure out what the hell she is. So she's making massive progress with Peter over like the fucking 2 years that she's worked with him.
Damn.
So
I did
much
not
so,
know that it was over 2 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it was like she had done so much progress with him that like there was a video, and I wish I had saved it when I saw it forever ago, where they actually play the footage of like Peter talking more or less, which wasn't really talking, but she would be like, okay, say like 1, 2, 3, and he would do like he's speaking through a non fucking human mouth, so he's not going to be able to create the same sounds, but like definitely the cadence is there, like
there's some mimicry,
the guttural stops and mimicry is definitely there when speaking. And it's weird as shit when you hear it, because like it's not like he says 1, 2, 3, but it's like when Husky says "I love you" in their like little thing, and you're like, "Oh, this is weird." It's kind of the same thing. You're like, "What the fuck?"
Well, and that brings it to a really interesting point of, are they just mimicking or are they understanding? Like, people think that dog thing. I'm gonna ruin it.
No.
People think that dog thing when they do that. It's so cute because they're saying "I love you." No, they're trying to recreate the noise. They don't know what it means.
No, and I
they don't understand
totally
the deeper
agree
thing.
with you. Yeah,
that's why I don't like it.
It's weird,
but
because
it's the same thing. Like, they're trying to figure out, is the dolphin going to grasp it?
Yeah, because I
understand
feel
what it
like
is?
so much of communication and what it seems like they failed to really grasp on this for some reason, is that communication isn't just about like the words and how they're structured.
Yeah.
It's about the actual like using them and applying them to what you're trying to convey. Not so much like, oh my God, this animal can count to 10. Okay, well that's fantastic, but
But do they
does
understand
it
the
know
concept
what the fuck
of
one?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Yeah, does it
they
know
understand
what
that
numbers
is?
are? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot more that goes into it, and I get that you really have to teach being able to say those before they can really
Yeah.
like process what it is, which I can't even imagine would be a fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But
How would you even like be able to quantify?
and at the same time,
Yes, they understand this.
I don't think so. The approach that they were taking on it, based on what I've read, is that they were trying to teach English without trying to understand Dolphin. Which I know that
Yes.
Dolphin has, like, it's fucking sound waves and shit that, like, pass underwater that we would never be able to hear, which we're never going to be able to understand that. Especially in the 60s,
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to
Well,
fucking
it's like
process
trying to
that shit.
teach somebody English without bringing body language into it.
Yeah.
Or any language without body language.
Well,
like, so much of our communication is nonverbal.
It's like trying to teach someone English without understanding their way of communicating as well. Like, the reason you're able to teach a baby a language is because you're taking something they understand, which is sight and sound, and putting it in.
Yeah, or like you can understand how they are non-verbally saying, hey, I want more of this.
Exactly.
And you're able to teach them, oh, you want more of this. I'm going to tell you, this is how you say it.
Yeah.
You want more.
Instead, you're just going, they're saying they want more of this, and you go, okay, well, this is how you count to 3. Like, it's just a really odd approach, and I'm sure that they had ways around it, but it wasn't anything that I really found. They're just kind of like, we will teach this animal fucking English if it's the last thing we
God's
do.
language, the language God spoke.
I will shoot a particle accelerator at this fucking dolphin if I have to. So, like I said, they're making phenomenal progress over 2 years, and they were able to get like the Smithsonian to fucking record this animal saying 1, 2, 3 and fucking dolphin speak, whatever. But the biggest holdup with the lessons, especially towards the end of the 2 years, is that Peter was now kind of, instead of being an adolescent, he's kind of shifting into like a puberty stage. And so when Peter would get like really turned on, per se, the only option that they had was to take Peter and move him downstairs to the tank with Pam and Sissy, let him fuck it out, and then get back to learning. The only issue is sometimes this would happen like a couple times a day. Sometimes this was like it was a regular day thing.
Think of a teenage boy.
And it would take fucking hours.
6 times a day.
Yeah, you've got to move this
this horny
hundreds
dolphin
of pounds dolphin down. He can't use stairs. It's not like they just have a fucking like slip and slide that goes downstairs.
I was hoping it was like a tube.
Yeah, just. But I mean, then you've got to get him back upstairs, and he's got to fuck for, I don't know how long dolphins fuck, like
Based on experience, about 35 seconds.
yeah, like 15 seconds, probably half the time that it takes me.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, it's not like he can jerk off. His fins aren't going to reach his dolphin dick. I don't know. I don't know enough about dolphins.
It doesn't. I Googled it before this episode.
I know. You flashed a photo at me while I was speaking. So, it becomes a logistical nightmare where they're like, at this point, it's almost like it would almost be beneficial if Mary went home for her evenings so that
He could fuck it out.
fucking horny Peter could just get all of his sexual frustrations out over the evening, night, and morning, and then they can get back into it. But they've put so much fucking money into making this a livable 24-hour area that they're like, well, we might as well just ship him back up and down. So this goes on for a while. And
Dude, real
What's up?
quick. Did this lady have a job before this? Did she just say, I'm going to go quit my job and live with dolphins?
I think she had
Like-
some animal experience because she always had like an animal fascination.
Yeah, but
And so I think she was
like,
Let
I'm
me
not.
look.
I am not in a position at this point in my life where if someone said, "Hey, come live with this dolphin for 2 years," yeah, we'll pay you. I couldn't do that. Like, I have other obligations.
Well,
Like, is she still paying rent on an apartment somewhere?
I think she
Like-
is. I'm fairly certain
Like, what
she
the
is.
fuck? To live with the dolphin for 2 years but still paying rent? That's
and,
a rip.
And stay there for a year. But to be honest, she was probably living at
Crazy.
home. Let's see.
Yes, generally people live at home.
No, I mean like she was probably living with family, like
Oh.
her parents. I would assume. It wouldn't make any sense to have an apartment you only stay at one day. a
Exactly.
week, which is what I'm currently doing. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Being in Mary's shoes, yeah, it's a fucking dumb idea. Trust
Okay,
me.
I just
know.
wanted to point that out.
But
like,
yeah, I think that
who has the time to stop their life for 2 years and do this? Like, this is some crazy people.
somebody that is obsessed with like
It's like a horse girl, but with a dolphin. A dolphin girl.
yeah, a fucking dolphin girl. She loves dolphins, right? So, the whole fucking dolphin sex thing has become, like I said, a logistical fucking nightmare at this point. So much so, Mary's just getting so frustrated with it, she doesn't really know what to do because it'd get to the point where she would be teaching and then Peter's kind of like nudging her like, hey, time to...
Gotta go.
It's time for me to get down to business. And she's like, Jesus Christ, like we're in the thick of this lesson. So Mary actually figures out a really good quick fix for this. And it's not really one that a lot of people would take into account. It surprised me when I read about it. So like I said, she would start to kind of note the mannerisms that Peter would have when he would start to get turned on. Obviously, like there's a fucking giant red dolphin dick poking out.
Yeah.
But if you're standing up above him, you can't really see that. So like he would nudge in certain ways and she would pick up on this. And so she
Like
would...
a type of communication.
Yeah.
A nonverbal communication.
Put that in your fucking notes. So she would take Peter over to a deeper pool and she'd just lend a hand to Peter, you know?
I've been waiting for this the whole time.
Mary would just, you know, fucking pinch one out for Peter.
Mary would jerk off the dolphin.
Mary just wait for him. She was an innovator of her time. So, she was later interviewed
Now
about
you know the
this.
reason we've done this story.
Yeah, I'm sorry that it took 42 minutes for me to really get to the thick
The very thick.
thick of this event, but this is why I fucking did this story. So, Mary was later interviewed and said Peter liked to be with me. He would rub himself on my foot or my knee or hand, and I allowed that. I wasn't uncomfortable with it as long as it wasn't rough. It would just become part of what was going on, like an itch. Just get rid of it, scratch it, and move on. And that's how it seemed to work out. It wasn't private. People could observe it. So she's just over
I bet
here.
she was a great
fucking
60s
just-
housewife.
Just like, I can't even imagine how tough her forearms would be because that fucking dolphin dick
That's
is just
huge.
massive. It's like, this is a real fucking thing. This
I wish-
actually happened. She was very open about, like, she
She
never
was
really
weirdly open about it.
she never denied it. She never said, oh no, like people are blowing it out of proportion. She was like, yes, I would jerk off this dolphin so we could continue our lessons. Which, when you get into the ethics of it, it's fucked up that you're just like, oh yeah, this pubescent dolphin is just getting squeezed off by his teacher. That shit would hit worldwide headlines today. It's bad fucking news for everybody.
That a teacher
involved.
sleeps with a student, or that a
yeah.
teacher sleeps with a dolphin student?
Both.
Oh, yeah.
Teacher and student, whether it's human or dolphin, should not be
Yes.
a relationship. So, she even went on to say, it wasn't sexual on my part, sensuous Perhaps.
Oh no. She was into it.
She was, dude.
You don't if you're a scientist, like, oh god, if you're just doing the job,
I'm telling you, I don't know who
it's not a sexual
I don't know
thing.
who interviewed
Sensual,
her,
maybe.
but they had to have just gotten her to feel so comfortable, because she even said in the same interview, it made the bond closer, not because of the sexual activity, but because of the lack of having to keep breaking. And that's all it was. I was there to get to know Peter, and that was a part of Peter.
Jesus fucking Christ. This lady.
So, of course, Hustler magazine gets word
Oh
of this
my
happening.
god. Of course.
And they wrote an entire fucking piece about it. And I read just like the first page because I couldn't find it anywhere. I really fucking wanted to read the whole thing.
eBay that shit. We'll expense it.
Oh my god, I really would. So the excerpts of this fucking story are terrible. Like, some of it I'm not even gonna mention, and it's just on the first page. It was like, what the fuck? But just understand, Hustler in the 60s and 70s were like, and I mean, I don't know if Hustler's still around, but it's 13-year-old boys that are stuck in like a 40-year-old man's body, and they're writing articles about whatever the fuck they can get their hands on.
Yeah, and they're trying to make legitimate articles.
But
they're
bad.
still horny 13-year-old boys.
So, some of the excerpts include, and it starts out, this is the first line. If you go to SeaWorld where dolphins are on display, you'll see the dolphins fuck. Dolphins are one of the horniest species on this planet. No, dude. Chances are, too, that there'll be some horny young females watching the action. What
Fuck is happening?
What? And
You're
it
a
goes
legitimate business?
It goes on to talk about how, like, this one girl gets a fucking SeaWorld membership just so she can stroke the warm dolphins. And
oh
it's
my
like,
god. Are they
bro,
implying that humans are getting off to watching dolphins fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's the idea, of the entire fucking article.
Ass motherfucker.
It's bad. As if this is the worst part of the
Well, yeah,
fucking-
exactly.
of the
This
episode.
isn't, but what the fuck?
Oh, it's so weird. So then later on in the article, they break down dolphin mating rituals.
Very
get ready.
good.
In mating, the two animals approach each other, their bodies a few feet apart in water, and suddenly one aims
Okay.
One aims his crimson spike at the other.
No!
And drives it home with a pelvic thrust. Like, get the fuck out of here. I want to meet who wrote that, because, I mean, it's been 50 years, and just be like, how badly do you regret writing this?
Seriously.
Like, how desperate were you to get into the journalism field at the time, right? So, a Hustler or a Hustler journalist managed to interview John Lilly about underwater hand jobs at the Dolphin House. How would that happen, right? How would a guy that is working on a secret experiment, speaking with dolphins, how would he come in contact with a Hustler journalist of all fucking people, right?
Because they paid.
No? It's
Fuck.
because John Lilly had been toying around with LSD for years at this time. Like, it's not that he'd been doing experiments with it yet. It's that John just fucking got big into the drug scene, man. And he was all about it. He was partying super hard. I mean, weekends, it was almost regular that John was just hanging out with celebrities and musicians, and they're just dropping LSD like fucking crazy. So, he got so involved with LSD that, of course, in the 60s, What happens when you've got a degree, a fucking doctorate? You reach out to the U.S. government and you say, hey, I know you guys know about this LSD thing.
Yeah, you
and
do.
I know you know about our experiment with those NASA dolphins. What if the two
Just connect them.
just hold hands together? So, they start injecting the dolphins with LSD. Now,
Oh,
Mary
Jesus
says,
Christ.
you're not going to do this to Peter. Like
He's too young.
Peter's too
He's
young.
too young and virile.
I don't want it to develop some kind of erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, we got to keep it where it's at.
If you can find something that will keep Peter in this prime of his life.
We'll get you some blue chew gum. Some blue chew gum for this dolphin so he can boner
Mary
pills.
is insistent that LSD is not given to Peter. She says it's because of how young he is and how it might interfere with the communication.
The communication between my hand and his penis.
Jesus Christ. We're no better than Hustler. Fuck.
Yeah, that's true.
While writing the second half of this, I was like, oh my God, we're fucking Hustler. Oh, well, though.
At least we're not trying to take ourselves seriously.
No,
and
seriously.
we're not
trying to get people off.
We're also not
while
taking
talking
advantage
about
of
this.
young people taking pictures of them.
Jesus
and-
Christ, really, though. So he gets permission from the U.S. government, and it doesn't really lead to anything, right? Like, the LSD trials that they hold on the dolphins, nothing happens to the dolphins, or at least nothing that they can observe. They're injecting them regularly with LSD, Pam and Sassy, and both these
Sissy.
Sissy, sorry.
See, I pay attention.
Yeah, thank you. Pam and Sissy, and both of them are probably, I'm sure LSD's already pumping through their dolphin veins anyway.
Oh, I'm
like,
sure.
They can hear fucking sonar. Like, they're tripping out all the time. So, nothing shows up. John's getting a little bit more withdrawn from the dolphin experiments just because he's getting big, man. He's hitting the big time. He's got bigger stuff to get done. He's on LSD. He's got some cool shit he wants to work on. And so
He's like, I'm done with this bullshit.
Yeah,
I'm done paying this lady to jerk off this dolphin.
yeah,
Let's go do something cool.
The fucking Hustler stuff comes out, and his LSD experiments aren't yielding anything. The U.S. government is breathing down his neck. Hey, we're giving you these drugs. What the fuck? And he's got like all this national talk about his dolphin-obsessed assistant fucking pinching him out down in the main lobby pool and not doing it behind closed doors, telling everyone, hey, if you'd like to come see it, here's some fucking dolphin wax in the water. So
Ugh.
Lily's attitude towards all of the experiments actually drives the lead director away. The lab lead director is just like, I'm out of here, dude. Like, we're not doing anything. We're stagnant. We've got all this bad press. We're not going to go anywhere. So Lily eventually cuts his losses and he closes the dolphin house down.
No.
Yeah, it's done. So, they have these 3 dolphins that they obviously can't just release into the wild because why would we ever do that? So they move them into a Miami lab, and it's a lot smaller. It's inside an old bank, right? Like, that's how fucking bad this aquarium is that they refurbish a fucking old bank and they put dolphins in it.
Yeah, that's a big oof.
It's a super small area. There's almost no sunlight that's coming in, and Mary did not move with Peter. So Peter's distraught, dude. He's upset, and they're struggling getting anything through to him because they're probably not jerking him off.
Yeah, they certainly aren't jerking him off.
He also had rapport with someone for over 2 years, so they're struggling with Peter.
Yeah, and keep in mind he probably didn't see the other scientists very often. Like, imagine being that isolated where you're probably not spending a lot of time with other dolphins, mostly spending time with one other person. Now that person's gone and you're on display. Like, That's some mental problems right there.
Oh, yeah, so it's a struggle. So Peter kills himself. I'm fucking serious. Peter...
Well, you said that so fast.
Peter commits suicide, which is a real thing because dolphins have to actively manually breathe, right?
Yeah, they have to go up with the blowhole.
They have to go to the surface. If they don't go to the surface, they will drown. Peter intentionally stops going to the surface and fucking drowns himself.
Jesus Christ. She
the-
jerked that dolphin to death.
The guy that's working with him he calls Mary, and Mary was interviewed again about it, and she said that she was called, and they said, Peter has died of a broken heart.
Oh, that's what they said?
Like that's what the researcher tells her, and he tells her, yeah, he took his life. Like Peter killed himself. Now get this. Mary said, I wasn't terribly unhappy about it, which is just fucked up.
Okay, that's
on.
pretty. You've been jerking off this dolphin for, I don't know, a year? What the fuck
she
is your
says,
problem?
I wasn't terribly unhappy about it. I was more unhappy about him being in those conditions than not being at all. She would prefer he's dead than live in those conditions, which I get it. Like, those are fucking terrible conditions. But she's just like, even if I were working there and he were alive, I would prefer he were dead than being in these conditions, which is a very bold take to have for,
that's a very bold
dolphin.
Take for the person who didn't commit suicide to take.
Dude.
Holy
so she
shit.
goes, he wasn't going to hurt anymore. He wasn't going to be unhappy. He was just gone, and that was okay. Odd, but that's how it was.
Jesus.
So,
my only regret is I only let him penetrate me twice.
The worst thing is that the picture in the Hustler magazine is a woman getting fucked by a dolphin. It's like a painting, and it's so weird.
Oh, God.
So
that would literally kill you.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I've seen that dolphin dick because
Jesus
I looked it up
God.
for this.
So
I swear, it was for this.
It fucking, like, research on it kind of has taken a pretty hefty downturn. Lily still continued work with, like, communicating with dolphins, but homeboy was just so strung out on LSD that they would do, like, music therapy with musical tones trying to communicate as well as telepathic lessons to teach them English. But eventually they dropped the dolphin lessons, and he worked elsewhere, and he actually was the one that created the first sensory deprivation tank. Surprise, surprise. So Joe Rogan's wet dream, but also mine. I really fucking want to try
I was going to say, we should buy a sensory deprivation tank for down here.
Yeah, and we'll put a bunch of
LSD
pubescent dolphins in there with big old bing bongs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so good old Mary and the dolphin tank worked wonders. God damn. You got the patrons, man?
No. We're going to talk about this.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. So yeah, dolphin dick. Bet you didn't think to see that coming. Man. So do the sign up thing.
Yeah. Do the sign up. It's in the notes. So the first link.
I'll actually have it in there on release. Also, welcome all our new subscribers. I should have started with that.
That's fine.
We've gotten a ton of subscribers over the last couple of weeks, so thank you guys so much for joining us. Hopefully you like what you're hearing and you'll stick around. If not, if you hate it, let us know. We will work to improve.
And we'll keep doing what we're doing.
At the same time. So, yes, patreon.com/points-o-pressure. I gotta rotate the microphone. So, of course, chairperson of the PP, Minnie D. Donnell.
Thank you.
Abby, AJ's Third Nut, Lindo, D's Nuts, Nordic Thunder, Toddle Waddle, Dark Runner, Haley, and Casey McFacey. Thank you guys so much. You let us do these fun things like the giveaways and basically paying for our hosting of our entire podcast.
And you just paid me to talk about a dolphin jerk-off story, so thank you for that.
Well, not directly, thank goodness. Maybe one day.
Your help is greatly appreciated, and at some point, we really do want to give back to you. So make sure your addresses are up to date on Patreon.
Yes, and if you sign up for Patreon, which I heavily suggest you
absolutely
do
suggest
within
it.
the next month or so.
Yes, absolutely.
Make sure you put your address in there. Also, you don't have to use your real name on the thing if you don't want us to say it. You can put a fake name, or you can, put in your real name, but if your last name's in there, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
It's just so you know.
No, we won't dox you.
Because somebody still has their last name in there, even though I told them to remove it, but just in case I fuck up. But that's okay. I haven't yet.
We've made it so far.
Yeah, so, you know.
Thank you guys so much. And as always, if you have any suggestions for shows, music, TV shows, fucking movies, books, whatever, articles,
Tintypes,
anything you got.
Glass negatives.
You find something cool, send it our way. We love talking to you guys. And even if you just need somebody to chat with, by all means, reach us at Twitter and Instagram at PointsOPressure. Thanks again, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Yeah, we'll see you then.